Hello, good afternoon. Pete from Pete's Plastic Playground here. Welcome you all back after what's been a fairly long break actually. I think it's a couple of months since I last spoke to you. So anyway, I felt inclined to make a video today and get things up and running again. Now that the year's creeping on and autumn I think is well upon us. Gets dark around 8 o'clock these days, depending on how much cloud there is. But anyway, 2020 for what it's worth is now starting to creep to a close, and I must admit I've not done much modelling wise over the last couple of months. Since I've been back to work, it's been pretty busy, not had much time on the bench at all. In fact, I've done absolutely nothing for about 6 or 8 weeks now, so it's time to put that right, folks. And anyway, where I left off with modelling was my old Hercules, and I've got as far as really not making a particularly brilliant job of the fairly rudimentary cockpit and the nose gear assembly, and painted a strange colour that seemed to be what was called for on the instructions on the inside of the fuselage. But anyway, this big old basic Hercules, I'm going to pick it up now and get it finished off in the same colour scheme as the box art. Put it on a base with the Land Rover and the Bloodhound missile being loaded in the back, and enjoy every moment of it. So this is the current build, the old Airfix 172 Lockheed Hercules C130K. So it's a good sized model actually. Certainly fills the old workbench up, and I'm looking forward to cracking on with it. Well, I hope you're all enjoying your modelling, whatever you may or may not be doing at the moment. But I'm looking forward to finishing that and cracking on with it. But yesterday I had a little day out with my pal, and got in the car and we went over to Newark in Nottinghamshire, to the Newark Air Museum, which I'd never been to before, but we were pleasantly surprised at how good it actually is. There's a lot of really sort of Cold War onwards aircraft there in various stages of restoration, making excellent displays. There's from big aircraft, there's some really interesting stuff. For a start, there's a Vulcan there, which is breathtaking, of course, absolutely great. XM594 I think it is, a B2 Vulcan, and you can walk around it, underneath it, this, that and the other. Nothing, you couldn't go inside anything. I think they put some restrictions on because of COVID. But there was a superb display of old aircraft there. Off the top of my head, thinking of my favourites, there was a Sea Harrier inside, very nice. There was outside there was a Buccaneer in old Royal Navy colours, in the old grey and white. There were two Su-27 MiG floggers there, which was an amazing surprise. In the bigger stuff, there's a Shackleton, which again you can get right up close and personal, and I think under normal circumstances you can have a look inside, which is marvellous and worth going back for that when things are back to normal. A Handley Page Hastings, massive, great big turboprop transport aircraft, really huge, great big tail dragger of a thing, like an overgrown Dakota really, and that took part in the Berlin airlift apparently, I was reading. Smaller stuff, Lightnings, Jaguars, there was an F100 and Super Mystere there, some single-seater jet fighters, all sorts of things. So well worth a visit if you can get into the Newark area. It's not expensive to get in, very nicely laid out, very helpful staff, and a good open area to walk around, as well as two very, very interesting hangars. A Gloucester Javelin inside one of the hangars as well. There's fallen Nat, lots of things are springing back to mind. What I might do is actually make a little montage video of the still pictures that I took and tack it onto the end of this this video for you to see what was there. Anyway, yesterday, one of the real highlight for me and for my mate, actually, we both commented on how unusual it was to see a Fairey Gannett. And it's prompted me to pull this out of the stash. A Revell model for me, which is a change. But it's put me in the mind to build this next. It's a 172 Gannett on the cover because it's a Revell kit. Of course, it's in German Navy markings, but there's an option to do a Royal Navy one, and that's what I shall do. Is I shall do the Royal Navy variant. Fantastic, really interesting aeroplane. Massive as well, huge, great big fuselage, and the one we saw yesterday had a very big bulbous radome underneath. Submarine hunter, of course. Interesting. You know, kind of contra-rotating propeller to give it a load of power for taking off from the deck of the aircraft. And I believe the way it works is that they can turn one of the props off just for cruising around at altitude when they're patrolling the seas, looking for anything underneath the water that they might want to drop some ordnance upon. So yes, the Fairey Gannett, interesting aircraft. Great to see one yesterday at Newark Museum, and certainly going to be the next build for me after the Hercules is done. And yeah, looking forward to that. It'd be a change to make a Revell kit, actually, because you know me, I'm sort of Airfix through and through, but I don't think Airfix have ever done one, and never likely to. So yeah, this is where we're going. Would you like a look inside the box at the parts? Of course you would. That's what we do here. So I brought this, crikey, years and years ago. I think it was in Model Zone, another Model Zone bargain before they went under. There's a sheet here for the decal layout for the that's for the German Navy on there. I won't begin to try and read out well, there we are. Mark IV Bundesmarine Schleswig 1956 to 1965. So two variants there, I think, for the Germans. And then on this page, for the Royal Navy markings, Fairey Gannett anti-submarine Mark I, number 815 Naval Air Squadron, Fleet Air Arm, HMS Ark Royal from 1956. So it's a good old aeroplane, isn't it? It's very, very old. So there's all the markings there for the Royal Navy Gannett. Revell instructions. We'll see how we get on. It's the same. It's different, but the same, I suppose. It's still pieces of plastic to glue together. But there are one. Oh, this is just how many sprues there are on this. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3 sprues of parts. No, 4 sprues of parts, and some clear plastic for the canopies and so on. And how many stages in the instructions are there? 38 stages, including putting some cable up for the aerials, which is good that they show exactly how that should go. That's interesting. Is there an option to have the wings folded in that configuration? It's quite a dense layout, I must say, of illustrations of diagrams for the assembly instructions, but I can't see that there is an option to fold the wings. But I'm not too worried about that. I'm happy to have the wings extended into flying configuration, but I shall do it gear down, I think, so that it can be displayed that way. But yeah, looking forward to it. Something different. Maybe something that modelling manufacturers ought to look at is bringing out a new updated Gannett. I'll open the bag so that we can have a look at the parts inside. Looks in Revell's nice sort of greeny grey plastic. So there we are, 2 big sprues of parts, wings and control surfaces on this one. Looks to see some recessed panel lines and some nice surface detail on there to get stuck into. All looks pretty good. Another sprue here with some smaller parts and the fuselage halves. twin props, be interested in painting those. And the gearbox housing, I guess that's a gearbox for the contra-rotating propellers and so on. I might have a little read up and see how that actually works while I've got this kit in my mind. Yeah, so there it is, the Fairey Gannett from Revell, and as I say, inspired by my visit to the Newark Air Museum yesterday, where there's one on display. So there's some smaller parts there. Good. Right, let's just pop these back inside the bag now so we don't lose anything, and then I'll move on to the next thing that I was going to chat to you about. Again, inspired by a visit yesterday. As you go in the gate at Newark, the first thing that leaps out at you is this old Wessex helicopter, an Air Force one in green camo, and it was a fine example. Surprising is when you get up close to them, it's surprising how blooming big these things are. And there we are, just got that put away. It's surprising how big these helicopters are when you get up to them, and it's always amazed me that how high up the crews sit above the engine and the rest of the workings of the helicopter, and how the drive is transferred from where the engine is up to the rotor blades and so on. So again, inspiration for seeing the real thing. I pulled this out of the stash to join the queue fairly soon. Again, away from Airfix, because they don't do anything like it, but it's a 1/48 scale Italeri Wessex HAS1, and there are a number of variants in schemes that you can see on the side there. And as I'm a sucker for Navy aviation, I'm going to go for one of the Navy. I think probably the blue and the yellow from HMS Victorious in 1961. I like that colour scheme there, not least because last year I built the Airfix HMS Victorious, so although it's totally out of scale, it would be nice to keep the theme going. Although having said that, I do like that the day glow red and dark blue colour scheme as well, and that's HMS Hermes in 1970. So either of those two, I think. Stick away from the Marines type colour schemes. I mean, the all over sort of, I don't know what colour you'd call that, sort of beige colour I'm not so sure about, and the camo. I'd like to do something different with the either of those two, and I'll probably toss a coin when it comes to it, whether to do 814 Squadron or the HMS Hermes version, the search and rescue, but we'll see. Anyway, again, another little look inside the box. Italeri model, interestingly, came with some brass etch material for radiator grille and cockpit detail and so on, and some seatbelt straps. So it was interesting that actually came with the kit. Italeri instructions, really nice looking set of decals, I must say. Very, very nicely set out on that page, and yeah, all in all, much clearer instructions in my opinion than the Revell kit. Much more nicely set out. Maybe there are more steps to you know, to sort of follow, but where do we get through? We've got the colour schemes there. Yeah, well, actually 13 steps and the model's done. So yes, again, inspired by seeing that Wessex the other day, I've decided to pull this helicopter out of the stash and have a go at that once the Gannett is done. So I've got a forward schedule of builds to make. Today I was taken shopping by my wife, and I nipped into the Works. You know, that little kind of bookshop come stationery discount bargain shop chain that we've got one near us, and I pulled out this from the shelf because having the Wessex in mind. But look, it's from this series of Haynes manuals. This one on the Westland Wessex was only £4, And I thought to myself, well, that's going to be a great reference tool for when I come to make my model, because it is absolutely rammed packed with detail. I mean, look at that exploded drawing there, and colour pictures of detail, both the interior. Look at that. Where else would you find detail like that on the instrument panel? Phenomenal. And some really good reference pictures to use while undertaking this project to build this model. Looks like I'm going to have an early night and a read tonight, folks. This looks like a really good book to me, and I've got a couple more of these Haynes manuals. I think they're excellent books, and for £4 you just couldn't leave it there, could you? So that's it. That's my little update on what I'll be doing soon. I'll talk to you in the meantime while I'm building the Herc. I guess this is going to take me through till Christmas probably, because we're getting on for halfway through September now. There we are. That's the update. The only other thing that's happened is that I've renewed my membership to the Airfix club and got my card. Says more about me than cash ever can. so I don't know. I don't think there's any discount schemes anymore if you buy anything from a Hornby shop. Incidentally, I was disappointed to see that the Hornby shop in Swindon is closing down. So I won't be going there again, I don't think, unless I'm dragged around by my wife. Really disappointing to see that, because over the years I've picked up a few bargains there, not least a half-price 124 scale Sea Harrier, £38 I think I paid for it. I had some real good bargains out of that Hornby shop, but latterly the prices haven't been so good. They've been charging recommended retail price, which to me defeats the object of a factory shop. So, but there we are. That's the way things are. So the Hornby shop in Swindon is closing down. Anyway, that's it. Hope you're all keeping well, and I send my best wishes to all of you. Thanks for the subscriptions and for the likes and comments and so on. It's good to be back. It's good to speak to you again, and thanks for hanging in there while I've been gone. And I'll speak to you again soon with some updates on my projects that I've just spoken to you about. All right, all the best. Bye for now from Pete's Plastic Playground. Cheers.